Good morning, my TV King family. How is everybody today? Happy March 1st. We're in March now. The weather should finally start getting warmer. We got a few warm days, and then all of a sudden it turned cold again yesterday. It's supposed to snow, I guess, today or tomorrow or whatever. My birthday's soon, so I'm excited. I'll buy myself some silver. I used to buy myself gold, but it's getting out of range for me. Anyway, so look at my topics today. Let me just send this to D. See, listen to how loud my person above me is. Why am I hearing him? Right? He like yells into the phone. Anyway. All right. So my first comment was on sports. What's wrong with it? Right off the top of my head, I can think of 4 or 5 things. So the first problem is I'm looking at sports. I'm looking at the NBA today. Well, there is actually an ABC game. Now, this is Sunday. Spurs and the Knicks. Then we've got Minnesota and Denver, which I can't name a player on any of these teams. And then we have an NBC game at 8 o'clock, Boston and Philadelphia, but I don't think Larry Bird's still playing, or Dr. J, or Charles Barkley, or Chocolate Thunder, or any of those guys, which is the problem. So if I wanted to watch OKC, what are they? The Thunder? I don't know what channel this is, KFAA, which leads me to my point. Hockey's even worse. And most of the week, the games aren't on TV. And the thought is, if I wanted to watch a game, the games aren't on. It's a big game. Whoever, what the Lakers and the Celtics, right? Magic against Bird. Oh, those would be on TV. Especially the playoffs and the big games. They'd be on like Sunday afternoons or whatever. The Monday night games you couldn't watch, but if you wanted to watch them, they'd be on like Saturday or Sunday afternoon. So let's say I want to watch, Chicago and Philadelphia. It's not on TV. Let's say it was a big game. So where football basically doesn't have every game on TV, but you get the games that you want to watch. So I'm being in Detroit, I'm stuck watching the Lions, but then I do get the national game, Kansas City, Buffalo. I know that's going to be on TV. But in the NBA, NHL, baseball, when Kansas City plays Buffalo, there's nothing I can see there. Right? It's not on TV, or it's on this Fox Sports, or it's on Amazon Primes or something. So they're cutting their own nose off because I don't really want to watch. I don't really have that, so I can't watch it. Now they're assuming, well, you'll buy it if you want to watch that game. You'll buy, Peacock. No, I won't. That game should be on regular TV. It's a big problem with college football when the games are on ESPN but not on ABC, which makes zero sense. You want the biggest viewership, but also you want people to watch the games on, right? So if the game's on, I want to watch it, right? I want to watch the college playoff, not on TV. I want to watch NBA. Well, there's a few games if I want. If I want to watch San Antonio, New York, it's on TV. But if I want to watch Milwaukee, Chicago, it's not. They're making you go to this, whatever CHSN is. So by having all these pay services, and this is what's been killing baseball. The Tigers, when I was a kid, you'd listen on the radio when they'd be playing Oakland or California in the 60s, right, when they were really good. You could at least catch them on the radio. And they weren't on TV much. However, in this situation, you can't watch it. You have to then, well, I want to watch the game. Well, it's not on regular TV. Oh, I got to buy Peacock, but then I might have to buy Amazon Prime, and I might have to buy this. No, these should be, it's like me. You want to watch me. You want my football picks. You want my Super Bowl pick. You come here and you watch it, right? But if I were to make you pay for it, oh, you need a subscription. It's $25 a month to get the game. You'd be pissed off, as I would, because you're not getting the game. You have to pay for it. Well, you don't want to pay for it. You just want to watch it. You just want the game. Morning, John C. So this is the problem I see with sports. I just want to watch the game, right? Whatever it is, baseball. I come home, maybe Verlander's pitching. Oh, I want to see him. Even though he's 65 years old and the guy he lost 11 in a row last year. Yeah, I'd like to see what he looks like. No, I can't watch him. I got to go to whatever pay service to watch it. I don't want to pay to watch him. I'm not at the game. I don't agree with paying for it on TV, and you should have it free. So you want to charge me to watch the game on TV? What's wrong with that scenario? That's ridiculous. Like I say, it's like charging you to watch me now. It's ridiculous. It's on YouTube, so you're already paying for the internet, number one. Two, you found me and we can chat, and then I can give you my advice and I teach you, and especially in football, take the under in the Seattle and the Super Bowl and take Seattle. Well, you don't want to, I mean, if you're a customer, that's one thing. You bought the package, you're getting it. But just my analytics on the game, my problem solving on the game, you don't want to pay for that. I mean, you would, but you really don't want to. The idea is it's part of the watching the class. I don't charge you to understand gold and silver. I teach you. And if I charged you, you'd be upset. And I would be upset too if I had to pay for that. Now in a class, that's one thing, but here. So this is the problem with a lot of sports. You can't even see them. Or if I want to see them, what channel are they on? And you expect me to pay $20 a month to watch Paramount, Apple, Peacock, whatever the fucking channel is, and I'm not going to do it. And it's ridiculous that you're charging. These games should be on. You got 50 cable channels. You can't find a cable channel that you can put it on that won't cost everybody, because we're already paying for the cable. You want us to then pay for Peacock. That's a problem. So we don't watch it. We watch something else. Oh, the new Mission Impossible Rogue is on, or whatever the last one is. I've been watching that. Very scary AI premise, which is, it's basically Terminator 2, where the robots learn how to think and take control. And, great, great storyline. We've never seen that one before. And So I mean, it's the same thing. Am I scared that that's going to happen with AI? No, AI is too stupid. It's not going to happen with AI. But you don't like to see it. Sorry, having breakfast. What's the good word, sir? Well, I don't know. I'm talking. My birthday's next weekend, so that's a good word. Sports are all apps now. Not really. Football isn't. The NFL and college are pretty much Fox and ABC and NBC. So that's my point. That's the whole thesis here. That sport you can still watch. You turn on your TV, the games are on. And that's the point. I want to watch KC and Buffalo, it's on. If I want to watch the Lakers and Boston and Magic and Bird, I can't. That's what kills the sport. You lose then because people aren't going to pay for it. Now apps is the new cable model. No, not necessarily. Apps are the new business model. They found a new way to make money. I don't agree with that either. Apps I can have cable without apps, right? And I got an antenna so I can watch the games on normal TV. Like today, the Spurs Knicks game's on ABC. I might not want to watch the game, but I can watch the game on regular TV, so I can still watch it. Football every Sunday, it's always on Fox and CBS and NBC, ABC. So my point is, if I want to watch a football game, I can watch it, right? I don't have to pay to watch it. And I don't buy this, I'm getting rid of cable and I'm going to buy 10 apps. I don't want to buy Apple. I don't want to buy Amazon. I don't like Amazon or Apple. I don't want to buy their service. Certainly, I don't want ESPN. ESPN sucks, except for they'll show these games on it, but it's ridiculous. But I'm not going to pay for ESPN. I got food to buy and gold and silver to buy. I'm not going to waste my time. The only app I pay for is Netflix. And it's only because of Money Heist. And now they got the James Bond movies on. I think they did a merger or something with HBO, or they're going to do one. And so there'll be more content to watch, but I'm not going to pay. If it goes up to, I pay $15. If it goes up to $25, I'm not gonna buy it. Anyway, that's the thing. It's budgeted. I got to pay. I mean, I'm paying. I think it's like $50 a month for internet. And that's really not, that's to get to it. That's so you can use the apps. I'm not paying $50 for the internet plus $20, $30 a month for these apps. That's not going to happen. You think it's moving there. I'm saying no way. I'm not going to move to it. I'm fine. I can watch movies with 6 commercials in them every 5 minutes on Tubi and on Pluto. I mean, what it's doing is really driving you back to DVDs. I can put a DVD on and not have commercials. God, that's the biggest pit I've ever seen. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. I'm not going to buy it to watch one regular season game. Now, I would assume the playoffs are on regular TV. And basketball and baseball, the playoffs are on Fox. But for a regular season game, I'm not sitting home to watch it. You know, it's like timeshare. They tried to get me to buy a timeshare. I said, fuck off. I don't want to go every year to the same vacation spot. I want to be able to be flexible. I want to go to Germany or Spain or Portugal. I want to go. I don't want to have a timeshare in Arizona or something and have to go to it. And now it's a scam because they charge you these high maintenance fees that you didn't agree to. And so a lot of the timeshares are just scams. But what you're looking at here is, oh, I'd like to see Verlander pitch, and you can't find it, and then it's I got to pay for it, and it's the concept of you have to pay for that to watch it, and that ain't happening, right? So you don't want to pay for it to watch it, and you just want to watch it, right? Even going to the games, going to a Lions game is $500 for a seat. Fuck off! I'm not paying that. Now there's this big waiting list, apparently 10, 20,000 people, and they're not going to be 500 this year, and for the next 10 years they won't be 500. So people are being scammed there that they had a good year, 15-2 against the easy schedule, played the hard schedule, 9-8, found out Jared Goff's a fraud, the defense sucks, the coordinator sucked, the head coach sucks, and now they're like, shit, and I'm paying $500 a seat to see this crap. And then you have your guys on the radio who suppress all the data, trying to sell you, oh, they're going to go to the Super Bowl. And people are stupid enough to listen to these clowns. And it's just bullshit. So that's one problem. It's, if I want to watch the game, it's on TV. Then there's no players in it. In any sport, there's very few stars in it. I mean, real stars, and there's too many teams. So in the NFL, you got 32 teams. You don't have 32 quarterbacks that are available. You maybe have 10 NFL quarterbacks, and the rest are Mickey Mouse. They're jokes. Jalen Hurts, not a real quarterback. Lamar, not a real quarterback. So they try to get these guys who can run to con you into believing they're quarterbacks. Oh, Lamar's MVP of the league. Why? Well, he won games because he runs. He's not a quarterback. He's a running back. And, I don't know what kind of business model they have, but they're trying to sell you that Tom Brady and Lamar are the same, and they're not even close. So you don't have enough talent, first of all, in any sport. It's too much expansion. So you got 32 teams in basketball, and you've got maybe 20 players at the most. Each team maybe has one good player, and they all shoot 3-point shots. So the product got boring, but there's not enough good players to care about or watch. In the 80s, I'm a Piston, and I love Magic Johnson. Went to Michigan State. Larry Bird didn't like. McHale, Paris, Danny Ainge, everybody hated. And you had Jordan. Pippen sucked. And then you had Isaiah and Rodman and Lambeer. And then you had Magic and Kareem, and Dr. J played. And then you had guys like Dominique Wilkins, and Clyde Drexler, and Elijah Wan. So you had a lot of stars back in the 80s, and you could see the games, and they were great games. A lot of Magic, no-look passing, driving the lane, Daryl Dawkins, Chocolate Thunder, dunking and breaking the backboards, and Julius. You don't have any of that. That was very creative. That was very entertaining and fun to watch, and you enjoyed it. You go, wow, what a play. It's not a big deal when the guy shoots a 3-point shot. You're not going, wow, what a play. You're going, wake me when the game's over. So they've lost their entertainment value. They don't have any star players in the league. Oklahoma State's best player won the MVP. They can't even pronounce his name. They call him SGA because nobody knows what the hell his name is. Nobody knows anything about. Where's he from? From Europe? From Africa? From the moon? I mean, so you don't care about him. Somebody I got an email about betting college basketball and or betting pro basketball. I said, I don't do it. I mainly handicap pro and college football, and I do that better than anybody. when it comes to basketball, I can't handle first, it's every day. And secondly, um, it goes with during football season. So I focus on football. I'm not focusing on basketball. Could I pick basketball? Sure, it would be easy. The same problem solving I use in football, which is basically, uh, the quarterback, in this case, their best player, maybe the center or the guard, the defense, the coach. Are they over or under teams? And it's hard because the stats don't really tell you anything. Everybody's like the same in the game. And then you have back to back, and then now you got the guy sitting out. I mean, how am I going to bet a game and the guy, I don't know if he's playing or not? I don't want to play those games. If I got guys that don't want to play, fuck them. I'm not going to waste my time handicapping and then the guy doesn't show up. It's one thing when they're injured. And that's what the difference is in pro football. Mahomes, he's playing or he's injured, right? You're pretty much, he played and then he got hurt late in the game, late in the year, and you knew he was out, right? Jalen Daniels was out. Aaron Rodgers played with a broken wrist. That's the difference, right? So you can see the defense, and it's pretty much the same every week. And then you see like a Stafford and Nuka, and you knew what was going to happen. And in basketball, I can't name 5 players, and nor do I want to. I have no interest in it. First of all, it's all fixed. Secondly, the game's too boring to watch. All these 3-point shots, I have no interest watching jump shooting. You get Magic back in and Bird and all the passes and alley-oops, and that was fun to watch. That was good. Even Isaiah Rodman, Lambeer yelling at everybody, pushing everybody. You've taken all that out of the game, and the game sucks. So I have no interest in watching it, so I have no interest in handicapping it. Now, the playoffs, I'll handicap. I really don't need to watch them. I just handicap the game, and I go, oh, the team's down 2-0. I'm going to bet the team that's down 2-0 if they're decent. So I'm looking at where what seed they are, 2 seed, 5 seed, 6 seed. But there's not enough players in it. I can't name a good player in basketball, right? There's no Magic, there's no Bird, there's no Isaiah. There isn't even a Rodman or a Lambeer or anybody close, Clyde Drexler. There's nobody there. Or if there is, what do you got? You got, I mean, the Pistons have Cade Klubiak or whatever his name is. I don't know. I'm not watching for him. I don't think he's any good. And then you've got, tell me who's good. The SKA guy from Oak State, who nobody knows his name, or where he's from, what he does. Embed me from Boston or Philadelphia, Joel Embed. I mean, he's a big waste. I love how these guys think they tank. They don't tank. The players suck. So they lose because of bad coaching and bad players, not because nobody goes out to lose on purpose. I don't want to hear that. No player goes out and says, I'm going to lose. And if he did, he wouldn't be on the team. So I don't buy that they tank. I buy that they're bad. The players are bad. And that's really it. The coaches stink. The players stink. I mean, and then you've got 1 or 2 guys that maybe could play in the 80s. So you go down the rosters, and there's maybe 5 guys, let's say 10. Out of all these players on 32 teams, you've maybe 10 players that could play in the 80s with Magic and Bird and Isaiah and Jordan. That's it. Maybe 10. It couldn't even be John Paxton's, right? It couldn't be Horace Grant. They couldn't be Scottie Pippen. There's nobody that's any good because they just shoot 3-point shots. You had George Gervin. There are no George Gervins in the league. So that's problem number 2. The game's boring. The rules suck. It's not on TV, and the players are terrible. I mean, like I said, maybe you have 10 players in the league with 32 teams. Something doesn't add up. That means you got 20 bad teams. And so this joker on the radio, the Joseph Goebbels guy, the suppressor, he thinks they're all tanking, and they're not tanking. They're bad teams with no talent. The Pistons have one guy who's I doubt he would make the 87 Pistons, 88 Pistons. Certainly wouldn't make the Lakers or the Celtics. This Cade Klubiak guy, and he's not, he looks good in this league because they're so bad. But it's like me playing golf against a bunch of people who shoot 100 and I shoot 77, and I'd look good, but I'm not a pro. I can't shoot 67, and I know that. So what do you have? You have got my glasses. I don't know. They're like so hard to look at. Anyway, so you've got a bunch of bad players, really. So it's not on TV, very rarely. So if I want to watch a game, yeah, I can watch it Sunday at 1. There's a game on. Yeah, but I'm going to go swimming. I don't want to sit home Sunday to watch New York and Kansas City. So I'm not even there. And it's not like football where you're betting on it. You're not betting on basketball because it's all fixed. The referees fix it, and the players cheat. The players, I'm faking an injury, so I won't score. I'll keep my total under 10 points, and I'll win my own bet on myself. You're making $1 million, and you're betting on yourself. And you're stupid enough not to have like your brother go bet the game. You bet it yourself. Like Shotani. Give me a break. Shotani bets on baseball, and they make up it's the interpreter. Yeah, he gets $1 million, and Ohtani just gives them whatever you need. Just take the money. Yeah, sure. How stupid do you think we are, right? Let's see, John C. Pete Maravich. Sure, I remember him. Detroit is the best team, TK, no competition. What sport are you talking? Because it ain't football, and it ain't baseball, and it ain't basketball, and it ain't hockey. So what sport are you talking about? Boston has Tatum, one good player. Tatum O'Neal, she was good in the Bad News Bears, I remember. Detroit's not the best team in anything, so don't. They probably have a weak schedule. They're playing these teams in the East who have no players on them. They got killed by San Antonio earlier in the week. And when these guys play them, Cleveland played them, and I think OKC played them, and they didn't even play their players. They sat their players out because they don't care. Detroit's not the best team. I would bet you they will not win the title. Anything you'd like to bet. They're not the best team. It's just a lot of injuries in the East. So as I was saying, I golfed in this like 77, and then so that's Detroit, and then the rest of the league golfs in the hundreds. So they're 100, they're 77, and that's why they're winning, but they're not good. It's like the Lions. The Lions would beat the easy teams. Oh, they beat the Jets and the Bears when they were just starting, and Washington and the Giants and all these bad. And they barely beat the Giants, but they beat the bad team. Well, like 2 years ago, they go 15-2. They didn't have any wins against a good team. They had the weak schedule. Now they had the hard schedule. What they do, they go 9-8, losing twice to the Vikings with Brosmer. And so you want to tell me how good the Lions are? And I say, no, when they play good teams, they're not. And the same with the Pistons and the Red Wings and the Tigers. The Tigers have it the worst. But anyway, all the leagues don't have enough players. There's 32 teams and not enough players. There's a few players. So you ask me how I bet football. I bet Mahomes. I bet Joe Montana. I bet Tom Brady. I bet the star. I don't know that there's any stars in basketball. I don't even know anything about hockey anymore since Bobby Orr left. And as far as basketball, since Magic left, I mean, and Isaiah and that whole thing, I have no idea. I probably haven't watched the playoff game since the 90s. with Jordan. I remember I had a big lock on what was it? Portland against Portland or Utah was playing the Bulls in the finals, and the Bulls were like a 14-point favorite. I think it was at Utah, like game 5 or game 6. I had a lock on Utah, and Utah was winning the whole game by like 18 points, and then Chicago won at the end by 1, but I covered, so that's all I cared about. I don't care who wins; I just care who covers. So who's the Jordan in the league? I don't know. Who's this SKA on Oklahoma City? I don't know. Where's he from? What college did he play for? I don't know. You can't watch college basketball because the guys are keep changing. You have guys who 1 year. I mean, what is that? They play 1 year and they go into the pros and they don't do anything in the pros. And then they go to the G League and they want to go back to college. This whole NIL thing is sickening. The players changing teams all over the place. You just don't have enough players in college for all the teams. And you certainly don't have enough players for how many teams you have in the pros. And I'm going to say that's every league. I'm going to say that's hockey, basketball, for sure, in baseball. There are no good players in baseball. I will show you the 1973 All-Star Introductory. I found that yesterday. So 1973 All-Star game in Detroit. Reggie Jackson hit the ball 1,000 feet over the roof. And you go through the starting lineups, and then you go through the reserves. And it was like on the National League, Mays, Aaron, then you got to the reserves, Pete Rose, Roberto Clemente, it was like, holy fuck. Johnny Bench was like, I think the 7th hitter. Pete Rose didn't even make the starting lineup. It was Mays, man. Bobby Bonds didn't make the lineup. Tom Seaver was a relief pitcher. I mean, it was like, it was unbelievable. And now you look, and what do you got? Paul Scanes, maybe Max Fried. Give me a hitter. There isn't any. Give me a all-star. Give me a Brooks Robinson. Give me a Frank Robinson. Give me something, and you can't give me anything because there's no good players in the game, or they're all like Rodriguez, or now you're starting to get the Japanese guys over, which they don't even speak English. I mean, there's no connection at all, and there's too many teams and not enough players. So not only is baseball not on TV, except for like Saturday night game, and then it's very hard to bet now because the guys can't go more than 5 innings. You got losers like Skubal, who pitches 6 innings and comes out. What was I watching? I was watching a World Series game. What was it? I think it was the 1970 World Series. It was, I think, Baltimore and Cincinnati. And, Jim Palmer's pitching the 1st inning. He's pitching the 5th inning, and there he is in the 9th inning. Then they finally bring in the reliever. Or I was watching the Oakland A's. You Oakland guys would like that. So I was watching Oakland against the Mets, and it was Willie Mays' last hit, but they showed the whole series. And there's Catfish Hunter in the 1st inning, and there he is in the 7th inning. And they finally took him out in the 9th because they had rally fingers. All right, where's the Catfish Hunter? Where's the rally fingers? It's so convoluted. The problem is they make these changes for no reason. They give you an electric car. I'm fine with the gas car. I got gas stations all over. It's very cheap to gas. I got no problem. We're not running out of gas. There's tons of it. So you make a change for no reason. So you now change to, we have 25 pitchers on the team, and the pitcher can go 1 inning, and then we pull him, and all this analytics, which is ruining everything, which isn't even good. We see the 4th downs in the NFL, but imagine the analytics in baseball. Well, no, he can only go 1 inning. He can't go 3 times through the lineup. I see Catfish Hunter out in the 8th inning of the Oakland Met game, and I see Jim Palmer. Yeah, there wasn't a problem going 3 times through the order. Jack Morris, Sandy Koufax is in the ninth, and Bob Gibson and Steve Carlton. What the fuck you talking about? So this is the problem. I mean, I have no idea why people just jump to analytics. So it's all this computer stuff that the computer guy, all he's trying to do is sell and make money. So he makes up all this shit like AI is good, which we know it isn't, and analytics, which it isn't. You got 10 coaches fired by using analytics. Oh, we have to go on fourth down. 4th and 2, we had, it says to go. And coach is fired now, right? And funny how in the Super Bowl, Seattle kicked 4 field goals right away. They didn't go on fourth down once, neither did New England. Maybe they're learning it doesn't work, but just because an IT guy says to do this doesn't mean it's good. So analytics is ruining everything. All we do is scratch our head going, well, it's 4th and 1 at your own 28 and you're going for it because analytics says so. Well, why are you ahead? You're going to get fired, head coach, because people are getting paid to win and you're not going to win doing that shit. Either way, you have a defense, you can punt the ball and hold them. That's what we used to do, right? So it becomes basically there's not enough good players. There's too much expansion, not enough good players, not enough good coaches. Otherwise, the NFL wouldn't fire 8, 9, 10 coaches every year. Then they hire a guy and they fire him the next year. Then it's all this offensive and defensive coordinator crap. What is that? This instant replay is ridiculous. I'm watching, there was a play at the plate in this, I think it was the 70 World Series. No, Yogi Berra, it was the Mets. He was coaching the Mets against Oakland. And there was a play at the plate. The guy hit the ball and it bounced really high. And there was a guy on third. And the catcher catches the ball. The ump's in the middle because he's trying to call if it's fair or foul. And the runner's there behind him. And the guy never tags the runner. The runner never touches the plate, and the ump calls him out. And they showed it in slow motion, and yet the ump called him out. He was out, even though he would have been out anyway. He never touched the plate, but the catcher tagged him with his glove, but the ball was in his hand. But a perfect example. If the ump calls him out, he's out. And Yogi's like, how the hell could you call him out? You couldn't even see the play. He's like, he tagged him. There might have been Sparky Anderson. It was one of those two. It was during the A's run when they were beating everybody. It was funny. The A's and the Raiders never hooked up. It was like the Raiders were in the playoffs, 71, 72, 73, but they never won. And then the A's won 3 in a row. And then Oakland finally won in 76. And Reggie's on the Yankees, I think, at that point. So you have no TV coverage where you're killing demand by it's not on TV or I got to pay for TV, which nobody agrees to do. You've got too many distractions with the rest of the internet, right? So people are playing video games, so they're not even noticing baseball's on. You have too many teams with not enough good players. The East is bad. The whole sport's bad. San Antonio is pretty good with that new player, but they have no Duncan or Robinson. TK, why do you think baseball does have good players anymore? You think? Well, I think because they ruin the pitchers by wanting the pitchers. That's why all these pitchers get injuries, right? And then if you look at the Tigers, they have all these players. I don't think they had any 300 hitters. They had about 8 or 9 hitters hitting 220 and under. Why are they in the league? And it's mainly because there just isn't any good players. I think they're probably playing basketball because it's a much easier game. Look how big this pit is on my avocado. I think basketball is much easier to play than baseball because baseball, trying to hit the ball is very difficult. and only a few can do it. And then you have this AI crap and bad management and coaches. And I think they hurry him up. I mean, the guy, well, he started in single A ball. Now he's in triple A ball in 3 months. Well, he's not ready. Um, I think there's a lot of impatience. They want to win right now, but I don't think they know how to win right now. That's all you see in the NFL. All these coaches. Oh, Cam Ward, let's play him right away. Cam Ward is not an NFL quarterback. He's certainly not ready to play right now. Watch Mendoza. If Oakland takes Mendoza and they're stupid enough to do that, he'll play the game one. There's no way he's ready. He didn't look that great at Indiana. I'm sorry. Maybe he had a good game against Alabama, who was kind of weak defense, and maybe they had a good game against Oregon. Okay, that was surprising, but that was a lot of turnovers by Oregon, the pick six. So it was more the defense. So now you're asking Mendoza on a very bad team with no receivers except Brock Bowers and Gentry, but no line. He's going to get blitzed and he's going to sacked and fumbled. He'll get hurt, but he's not ready to play. Like I say, it's like going from job A to job B. You're not ready to start job B day one. You need to get where's the bathroom and when's lunchtime and just walking your way around. And then, it takes you a good month to kind of settle in your job. Not, oh, let's just start today. I hate that. Hit the ground running. What is that? That's a path to failure. So I never liked those jobs. It just turned me off. Look, I'm here to learn. I'm here to work. Just shut the fuck up. And the places that they let me do that, I was very successful, like Canadian Club and like Mercedes and GM and stuff like that. But even at Tenneco, I thought the boss was terrible. He couldn't communicate. He couldn't speak English. He was Brazilian. Yeah, this is it. We got to hire a Brazilian boss because of all the quotas. It's got to be a diverse workplace. Let's go get somebody from Brazil. They didn't like me because I was American, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to explain that, but that was a joke. But anyway, this is the point where there's a lot of people that are not qualified. You see it in the government with all the inflation, and we're buying gold and silver because we are qualified to know what to do. But in baseball or football, all right, Cam Ward, let's start him right away. Who's the idiot making that decision? He wasn't good in college. He sucked at Washington State. I remember we had a guy come on here saying how good he was at Washington State because they had beaten Oregon State or somebody at home. I says, well, wait till they go on the road. And they went on the road and started losing. I said, there you go. And Cam Ward, so at Miami, I don't know. He did choke in a couple of games, as he usually does. And he goes to Tennessee. He's not ready. He's not an NFL quarterback. That's my example. He's not a very good quarterback. He's not an NFL quarterback. He shoots 79, but the league, you got to shoot 67, and he can't shoot 67. So when I go through these quarterbacks, CJ Stroud, Goff, Lamar, they're not good quarterbacks. They shoot 79. So they're okay, but not NFL quality. And you saw it with Drake May. He's not ready. Oh, yeah, he could complete some passes. Well, yeah, okay. He's a quarterback. We hope he can, although Lamar can't. And Josh Allen was horrible his first few years, and then he finally got it, but he still runs too much. So you have very few Mahomes and Burrows and Staffords. That's the problem. So then you got Golf, and people think he's good. Like, at what point do you think he's good? What did he do? Play action pass? There's a lot of football then play action pass, a quarterback. So again, you don't have enough talented quarterbacks. You don't have basketball. You don't have any stars. In baseball, you've got very few pitchers. If you do get some, they end up getting injured and throwing their arm out because analytics says to throw it as hard as you can, even though it's going to ruin your arm. So they shouldn't throw. You don't have all these guys that can throw 98, 99 miles an hour. That's why you get so many injuries. Well, let's play him every fifth game and let's play him 5 innings. Well, that doesn't do anything. It's got nothing to do with that. Mickey Lolich pitched on 2 days rest in the 68 World Series. He was fine. So I don't know what you're talking about. So basically, it's ridiculous, right? So again, the problem with sports, too much expansion, no stars. It's not on TV normally. Like if I want to watch the Pistons tonight, and I don't know why I'd want to watch them, I don't even know where they are. Oh, I got to go to Fox Sports 1 to watch it. Well, I'm not buying Fox Sports 1. See, that's the other thing. They assume you're going to buy it, just like electric cars. They assume you're going to go out and buy an electric car. There's nothing there that says it's worth it doesn't add value. So we want to add value. So you're dating a girl, and then there's a better girl. So she adds value to you. Or like I'm moving because I'll get peace and quiet at the new place and not listen to the moron above me. And so you have that, right? So you make moves that make sense. You buy gold and silver and get out of the dollar because it's the right thing to do. It makes sense. Buying an electric car and getting rid of my gas power car makes no sense. It doesn't add any value. It's a lot more expensive if I get it damaged. It's a lot more expensive when the battery dies, which it will. Just like my computer and my phone. My computer, do you realize I do this class plugged in every day? Because if I didn't, it would last maybe an hour and that would go out. My phone is on 45. I mean, it was 90. It just bleeds the battery. So somehow in the car, it's going to be better that it won't bleed. Pretty soon, after a couple months, you'll be driving it. You'll be charging it every day. What an inconvenience that is. And how expensive is that going to be? Because there's a big problem with electricity with all these AI bullshit and all this Bitcoin bullshit. They're using all the electricity. So there's going to be a shortage, which could be why they're doing it more for the electricity to make money there than anything. Gold and silver, there's already a shortage of that. But that's the problem. So you just don't have the talent to have 32 teams. If anything, baseball should be maybe 12 teams and basketball, maybe 12 teams. I think 10 or 12 is about all they have talent for. Hockey, I have no idea. Like I say, that was a little bit different because you could get the Russians and the Czechs and the Swedes to play. And you can't really do that in basketball. There's no Europeans that are any good. You got one guy like who was that guy? Like Yao Bing. I mean, he couldn't play, but he was 7'6", so he's out there just for looks. Or that other Dikembe Mutombo, those type of guy. That's how Europe and Africa. Just there's a big guy and he can't play, but he's big. So that's your biggest problem in sports now. So A, you can't watch it, but B, it's not watchable. And the league, what's with the NFL? Okay, so let's look at what the NFL is doing. Okay, 32 teams. You don't have 32 quarterbacks. You don't have players for 32 teams. That's why you got shit teams. And nobody tanks. I hate this. What was the guy? What was I calling him? Conspiracy. I got to write that down. I keep forgetting that. Where's my pen? I was reading my notes, my economic notes for fun. Conspiracy. Let's see. So, Mr. Conspiracy, what was my thought? Anyway, he talks, was it like football? So I don't know. I can't remember the thought. I think I was talking football. Anyway, so you have all these sports, like let's take the NFL. Okay, they're trying to push like Netflix games on Christmas, which got to piss everybody off. And then you have the late Thanksgiving games on whatever Apple Prime or Amazon Prime, whatever they are, or Paramount Network or anything. We're not going to buy that to watch that game. And then all these Europe games. So you realize there's but 2 games in London. There's a couple of games in Germany, a Brazil game. There's one in Australia this year, Spain. What's the point of those? Are we making? Oh, so let me get this right. London is paying to bring 2 games live, really? Versus Jacksonville playing them at home that doesn't produce any revenue. So what's the extra revenue? And then you tire out the players because of the jet lag. But then who's watching the games? All right, the games are on at 9 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday after a full day of Saturday college football. Who's watching? Nobody. The West Coast certainly isn't watching. It's 6 o'clock in the morning, and nobody's getting up to watch Jacksonville play Tennessee or something. So you have bullshit games. You have bullshit times. Why don't you have a standard game on at 9 in the morning? Because nobody watches. So there's really no demand. The only people maybe watching it, maybe, like the Lions are in Germany in 1 week. You think anybody from Detroit's going to – and it's not even going to be on regular TV, which is – I think if the Lions are on in Detroit, you'll be able to see it, which I'm not getting up at 9 o'clock. I'll be doing class at 11 o'clock on Sunday before the game. So I'm not watching it, and I wouldn't waste my time watching it. So you have a product there's no demand for in a different country where there's no demand for it. You worry about injuries on your players, but you're going to get more injuries from jet lag and the time difference than you are if they just played at home. The fields apparently aren't very good. They're soccer fields, so it's a different thing. So there's a lot of injuries, I think, in London or Germany or one of these. I think there was Brazil. They couldn't even play in the game because the field sucked. So you have a lot of issues that the NFL just sees the money, but on the other hand, they ruin the product because there's no demand. There's nobody watching. You don't have a lot of good players anyway, so you're getting more injuries. And then with all the time zone differences, flying on whatever Tuesday, Wednesday to fly to London to then play on Sunday morning at 9 o'clock, which is really like 5 o'clock London time. It's like 6-hour difference. So it'd be 3 o'clock in the afternoon London time for a 9 o'clock game. But your body, if you maybe played it at 1, but that would be 7 in the morning. And then people get tired and then they got to. So believe me, I've flown to Europe a lot, and it's very much you go there, you go to sleep, and you're not yourself for 2 or 3 days. But if they have to play football there, even if I had to play like in a golf tournament, I wouldn't be able to. It would take me a week to, get everything zeroed up. My back hurts from sitting on the plane so long, and then I got to stretch that out. And then you fly back. Now you're still jet lagged. You're still in the wrong time zone. And you want people to play football. Are you insane? Not like tennis or something. This is football, right? So you're leading to a lot more injuries, and like the time zone. And I don't get the point. Oh, we get money. How much does London pay you to host a game that nobody wants to go to in London? London isn't sitting there going, "Oh, let's have an NFL game here." I mean, it's crazy. I think I was in Austria and they had the NFL on. I was watching an NFL game. Yeah, I was with Carmen on New Year's Eve. I was in Vienna, and it was on one of the channels. So I was watching that. But that was In Germany, like I said, they wouldn't change the channel. I've never been to London, nor do I want to with all the riots going on there. So again, you have all this bullshit that they're doing that's hurting the league. There's no demand for a 9 o'clock in the morning game in the East, 8 o'clock Central and Mountain Time, and 6 o'clock in on the West Coast. So there's no demand for that. What are you doing? You don't do things, as we say in Say's Law, supply creates demand. So I got paid, and I demand this and that. That's the point. You don't demand, nobody's demanding a 9 o'clock in the morning game or West Coast a 6 o'clock in the morning game. Nobody's demanding it. They're usually shitty teams. Oh, good. We get to see Washington, Jacksonville. What a great game. Now, maybe if Daniels is playing, it's a good game, but otherwise, it's a lousy game. You got the Jets are playing the Giants. Oh, I'm sure 5 people are going to watch that game. So you have that. And again, it's just that the kickoff is terrible. Did it add value? Did it make the product better? You fired the coach. The new coach, is he any better? You got rid of your coordinators. They go from team to team. And did it make your team better? Well, you saw the Lions and the Eagles. They got worse with their coordinators leaving. That's what you're looking at. Not only you got to track the coaches moving around, you got to track the coordinators moving around. Ben Johnson goes to the Bears. Well, he wasn't that good on the line. Now you realize he was the coach, and Dan Campbell sucks. So now you get that pretty clear. And the Bears, and you can see, look how good the Bears. It's like Tom Brady leaving New England, and Tampa Bay wins the Super Bowl, and New England can't make the playoffs. So is it Belichick or Brady? So I always said, without Brady, Belichick wouldn't have won any Super Bowls. Who are you kidding? That's the objection. Now, Bill Walsh, he'd have had a tough time winning without Montana, but he was smart enough to start Montana. He was a 3rd-round pick. He started enough to smart him. He learned the offense, and they won 4 Super Bowls. He also got Ronnie Lott and Hacksaw Reynolds and Fred Dean and all these guys. He brought them aboard. He was smart enough to build the team. And it wasn't just Joe Montana, but believe me, I'm sure he'd rather have Joe Montana than not have Joe Montana. Phil Jackson did the same thing. He won 6 titles because he had Michael Jordan. And then he went to the Lakers with Kobe and Shaq. So let's see Phil Jackson on the Pistons. They wouldn't win anything. Anyway, so that's the problem with sports, any sport, the lack of TV, too many teams, not any good players. And there's that no Mickey Mantle or Willie Mays or Hank Aaron that you want to watch. Baseball, there's nobody I want to watch. And I'm sick of this Shotani guy. I don't want to watch him. He's a cheater. He's a liar. He bet on sports, and they slapped his hand. But yet when Pete Rose did it, he couldn't get into the Hall of Fame. And he couldn't coach anymore when they found out. Now, Pete Rose did bet, and he did bet baseball, and he did bet all the teams, not just Cincinnati. They had all the records. I saw a YouTube on that. And he deserved to be kicked out, but he should have made the Hall of Fame as a player because he did have 4,100 hits. And he was a great player. But I don't know why he bet and didn't have his sister bet or somebody, Uncle Joe, you make the bets for me. But there's nobody like that now. And then, in the 60s and 70s in baseball, you had, I'm going to show you had like 50 good players. In the NBA in the 80s, Magic, Bird, McHale, Kareem, Isaiah, you had so many good players. And then now you have no good players. The league just sucks. And the league changed. Now it's 3-point shooting. You've taken the entertainment out of it. In the 70s, the NBA wasn't that great. You had Kareem. You had Oscar Robertson, Jerry West at the end, Wilt, early 70s. And then you couldn't even get the game on TV because you got Rick Barry winning, right? That's how bad the league got. And then all of a sudden, ABA fold, Dr. J comes in, and then Magic and Bird come in 79, and Magic wins the title in 80. And then all of a sudden, Jordan comes in, Isaiah comes in. Now you got stars, but that's why you watch. I want to watch Magic. I want to watch Jordan. I don't want to watch LeBron. I don't want to watch Shotani. And there's nobody to watch. And that's the thing. You have to have demand. You have to have somebody you want to watch, which you don't have. Are the seasons too long? No, but I think the prices are getting too expensive where the fans, how can they afford $500 a ticket to watch the Lions? Nor they all must be out of their minds to pay $500 to watch the Lions. But I don't buy that. So I just don't see that. So the league is the schedule too long. I think what's happened is, like I said, with the analytics and then with the whole computer age, where now people can play games and get on Netflix and so in other words, you had to go to the movies. So let me watch the game. We'll go to the movies back in the 70s and 80s. Go watch, Star Trek and Star Wars and, all that kind of stuff, Batman. But then now it's all on Netflix and Tubi and YouTube and these other sites. I don't have to leave my house, but if I'm in the house watching Netflix, I'm not watching sports. So a lot of it is the sports themselves without the superstar is failing miserably. And then they fake the ratings. So Nielsen is not giving you real ratings. And then I showed you that one video where the real ratings came out and they were much lower. Like the Super Bowl was very low ratings. So they'll say, oh, the ratings are great, and they're not. And people are the idiots. Just, well, if Joe said it, I'm going to believe Joe. Who's Joe? I don't know who he is, but he said ratings were up, so I'm going to believe him. And the ratings are tanking. There probably isn't any ratings for the NBA or hockey, and baseball can't get any ratings with the crap that they show. So again, you have baseball where they're throwing the pitchers with the 100-mile-an-hour, and they throw their arms out because they can't throw 100 mile an hour. The body can't take it. And yet, for some reason, analytics says, well, the faster you throw, the harder it is to hit. All right, you go find somebody who can throw 150 then. Let's see how that works. So they can't throw it. So therefore they keep getting hurt. So all the pitchers get hurt. So you got a bunch of minor leaguers pitching. You got a lot of minor league batting. I mean, to find a 300 hitter is almost maybe 3 or 4 in the league. And then I go through the lineups with you guys every day, and it's like, yeah, they got, there's maybe 5 or 6 teams that have guys hitting over 250, like 4 or 5 guys. And then you have your guys hitting, like the Tigers, eight guys hitting under 200 or under 220. And there's one good hitter, they have one good hitter on their team. And then they try to sell you these other hitters. And that's one guy, Riley Green, strikes out like 500 times a year. And they try to paint him as a good player. He hits about 250 or 240. Like that's a big deal. Striking out, breaking the record for strikeouts. And he's a professional. In what world is he a professional? And you have a lot of guys like that, a lot of strikeouts, a lot of low averages. And you're trying to sell us that this crap is baseball. And let me show you the All-Star game, the 72 All-Star game. This will just be the introduction. Oh, by the way, the U.S. Killed the leader of Iran, having a war. What the fuck is Trump doing? All right, here's the 71 All-Star game. Virgil Moody, so hopefully I won't get flagged that it's the guy's collecting data. Billboard boys hunt their prey. Okay, here's the. These are real players.
When he was a boy growing up in Mansfield, Louisiana, Vida Blue's idol was Willie Mays. He never dreamed that someday he'd be playing in the same ballpark with his lifelong hero. And tonight, the first batter that the sensational young Vida Blue will face in this game will be 40-year-old Willie Mays. It should be just one of the dramatic moments of baseball's 42nd Major League All-Star Baseball game. It'll be brought to you by Gillette Platinum Plus, the razor blades with platinum smooth edges for smoother shaves. By Chrysler Corporation, extra care in engineering. Your host tonight, your local Dodge dealer. By Sears Best Exterior Latex House Paint for great American homes like yours. By Kellogg's of Battle Creek. Kellogg's, the best to you each morning. And by Phillips 66, the performance stock. At Phillips 66, it's performance that counts. Hi, everybody. I'm Kurt Gowdy of NBC Sports to call the play-by-play. My television partner, Tony Kubek, will be analyzing the game, and roaming the stands will be our man, Lindsey Nelson, bringing you between innings and half innings.
Pull them away from the Notre Dame games.
In the home ballpark of the American League Tiger Stadium, it is hot and it is very windy. The wind is going to be a big factor in tonight's game. It's blowing from home plate to right field at 30 miles an hour. And you know, the American League is trying to stop an embarrassing 8-game losing streak. The games have been close. 5 of the 8 losses by the American League have been by 1 run. But Tony Kubek, the American League has just not been able to get over the edge.
Kurt, the games have been close, and when you look at this ballpark, the hitter's ballpark, and you look at that power-laden National League lineup, you could almost see their eyes light up as they came out of the dugout, especially with that wind blowing out to right field today. The eyes of Willie McCovey and Willie Stargell, the real power left-handed hitters. Well, let's take a look right now at this ballpark, one known for hitting. First of all, starting from the left field line, a respectable 340 feet. But then you get to left center field, the power alleys, the alleys where most balls are hit. 365 to left center. Dead center field, 440 feet, a place where Willie Mays will be able to go and get them tonight. In right center field, a paradise for the left-handed hitters. 370 feet in the right center field power alley, and just 325 down the right field line with an overhang, which is actually 15 feet closer in that vicinity. It looks like a game of power. This is the starting pitcher, Doc Ellis, for the National League All-Star team. We talked to Doc before the game about the All-Star game and pitching to this American League team.
Well, Tony, first of all, it's a privilege being here, and it's a privilege also being chosen as a starting pitcher. And as far as the American League lineup, I don't know too much about the American League. I'm just going to go out there and throw it and hope they don't hit it. That's about it.
Doc Ellis?
Real quickly, he said it's a privilege to be there. Can you explain why the NFL can't have an all-star game, nor can the NBA or NHL or baseball? Why can't they have an all-star game? This guy was privileged to just be there, and he's starting pitching, right? It's a privilege to be in the – now what happened? The guys don't even – the NBA, it was a joke. They don't even – and all they got to do is play basketball, and they don't even want to play. They're a bunch of freaking prima donnas. Again, another reason that nobody wants to watch the game, because these guys are privileged and prima donnas. And I don't want to watch that. I want to watch Willie Mays and Hank Aaron. Wait till you see these lineups. Oh, my God.
So now let's look at Vida Blue, the sensation 21-year-old left-handed pitcher. Vida, as Kurt mentioned, will be facing a power-laden National League lineup led off by the great Willie Mays. Here's Vida Blue.
Well, first of all, Tony, it's great and honor to be here, and I'm happy about being the starting pitcher for the American League All-Stars. And well, to face Willie Mays and some of the other powerful stars that have in the lineup is quite an honor, and I can guarantee you they have all the respect in the world for me out there.
Well, you heard Doc Ellis, Vida Blue. Now let's hear for another man, the voice of the New York Mets, roaming the stands today here in Tiger Stadium, Detroit, Michigan, Lindsey Nelson.
Well, as you know, in recent years, most of the All-Star games have been played in the bright new stadium of our country. But also a popular commodity in our country these days seems to be nostalgia. And if that's true, it's altogether proper that the All-Star game be played here, because this is most of all a baseball park. Whether you call it Bennett Park or Nathan Field or Brake Stadium or Tiger Stadium, this has been most of all the home of the Detroit Tigers. It's been the scene of some great players and some great exploits. This is where Ty Cobb played and managed. This is where Mickey Cochran led the Tigers to pennants in 1934 and 35. This was the land of Bridges and Schoolboy Rowe, Gehringer and Hank Greenberg. More recently, of course, this is where Denny McLain pitched. It's been the home of Al Kaline and Norm Cash. And so if nostalgia is the thing we're looking for, it's altogether proper that tonight, when we have the greatest stars in the baseball world here in Detroit, they'll play it right here at this ballpark. Now back upstairs.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to meet the lineups for the National League and the American League.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and welcome to Tiger Stadium in the 1971 All-Star Game. Here are the starting lineups, beginning with the National League All-Stars and their manager from the Cincinnati Reds, George Sparky Anderson. Leading off and playing center field from the San Francisco Giants, Willie Mays. Batting second and playing right field from the Atlanta Braves, Henry Aaron. Batting third and playing third base from the St. Louis Cardinals, Joe Torre. Batting fourth and playing left field from the Pittsburgh Pirates, Willie Stargell. Batting fifth and playing first base from the San Francisco Giants, Willie McCovey.
I started a business to give old folks a new life, and Chase has supported me from the beginning.
Hello.
Do you want to play with me?
Sure.
Fucking
You gonna have
commercial.
groceries?
San Francisco Giants, Willie McCovey. Batting sixth and catching from the Cincinnati Reds, Johnny Bench.
Hitting sixth.
Batting seventh and playing second base from the Chicago Cubs, Glenn Beckert. Batting eighth and playing shortstop from the New York Mets, Bud Harrelson.
This is an all-star team in itself, the reserves. The speaker's a little off for some reason on the NF National. It'll be back on the American. Rusty Staub. Tom Seaver. Roberto Clemente. Clemente doesn't make the starting lineup. Lou Brock. Bobby Bonds. Okay, now the sound gets better.
Earl Weaver, the manager of the
Leading
American
off
League.
and playing
Getting
second
some booze
base
there.
from the Minnesota Twins, Rod Carew. Batting second and playing center field for the New York Yankees, Bobby Mercer.
That's Rod Carew.
Batting third and playing left field from the Boston Red Sox, Carl Yastrzemski. Batting fourth and playing right field from the Baltimore Orioles, Frank Robinson. Batting fifth and playing first base from the Detroit Tigers, Norm Tash. Batting sixth and playing third base from the Baltimore Orioles, Brooks Robinson. Batting seventh and catching from the Detroit Tigers, Bill Freehan. Batting eighth and playing shortstop from the Boston Red Sox, Louis Aparicio. Batting ninth and pitching, Vida Blue from the Oakland Athletics, who is warming up in the bullpen. And here are the remaining American League All-Star players and coaches. From the Baltimore Orioles, Don Buford, Mike Cuellar, and Jim Palmer. From the Boston Red Sox, Sonny Siebert. From the California Angels, Andy Messersmith. From the Chicago White Sox, Bill Melton and Wilbur Wood. From the Detroit Tigers, Al Kaline and Mickey Lolich. From the Kansas City Royals, Amos Otis and Cookie Rojas. From the Marty Patton. From the Minnesota Twins, Leo Cardenas, Harmon Killebrew, and Jim Perry. From the New York Yankees, Thurman Munson. From the Oakland Athletics, Dave Duncan and Reggie Jackson. From the Washington Senators, Frank Howard. And the American League coaches, from the Baltimore Orioles, Billy Hunter. From the Detroit Tigers, Billy Martin.
It's like a Hall of Fame game. You've got whatchamacallit, Roberto Clemente. Pete Rose isn't even there. Roberto Clemente isn't even starting. What a fucking lineup for both teams. Just incredible. And you wonder what's wrong with baseball. I just showed you probably 40 Hall of Famers in the same game. Oh, by the way, Reggie Jackson wasn't even a starter, and Frank Robinson and Rod Carew, 360 hitter, a real hitter. This is what's lacking. That much talent in baseball in 1971 versus what do you have now? I won't get copyrighted on this. It's an older one, and you probably didn't do copyrights, and it's an off guy versus it's like NBC or WWF. That's when you get the copyright. So this is what you have in each sport. I mean, we should look for the 1983 NBA All-Stars or the hockey All-Stars in the 70s, Bobby Orr, Phil Esposito, on and on and on. Yvonne Cornwallis and John Bedelville and all those guys. And you'd see them all on the ice together. There was a Bobby Orr one I have in the Olympics, and the five guys on the ice were Phil Esposito, Bobby Hull, Bobby Orr, I want to say Dennis Potvin, and I can't remember the right ringer. I mean, it's you have Hall of Famers who are superstars. You don't have that now. You can't name a sport, you have it. The players, let me read John C's things because he's talking about it. Yeah, the East is bad. San Antonio is pretty good with the new player, but they have no Duncan or Rodman Robinson. Yes. TK, why do you think baseball does have good players anymore? Doesn't have good players anymore. I think they're playing basketball, and I think they're playing video games, and I just don't know. I mean, I just showed you 40 Hall of Famers. I mean, the second team, Bobby Bonds and Pete Rose isn't even there, and then Clemente and Reggie and these guys that Harmon Killebrew, they're not even in the starting lineup. I mean, it's just insanity, right? And they actually pitched 3 innings. Now I was a little surprised that Vita Blue went ahead of Jim Palmer, but maybe Jim Palmer pitched the day before or whatever. And in the National League, oh, by the way, Tom Seaver's there, and Steve Carlton were there, by the way, and they weren't starting. I just think you had better athletes at the time, maybe better scouting. They knew how to pick versus now. I mean, look at Mickey Mantle. You haven't had a player like Mickey Mantle in years, right? Shotani's nothing. Like I said, he's a gambler and he's a cheater, so I don't waste time with him. You think he could learn English? That would be nice. And in America, right? So I don't like Shotani at all. Is he a good player? I don't know. The play, like I said, he's probably a 76 golfer in a league with a bunch of 90 golfers. So he looks better than he is. He could not make this all-star team. If Shotani played in the 70s, he would not be on that all-star team. No way, no how. Who are you going to replace? Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, Willie Stargell, Clemente? Who are you taking off the team for him? And that's the point. These were the creme de la creme. So you wanted to watch the game, right? This is the point. You want to watch this game. Reggie hits the ball over the roof. I mean, now the whole game's on here, but I want to go through that. Basically, I mean, if you go, it's just do 1971 MLB All-Star Game if you want to watch the game. Great game. But this is the point. You have Mike Schmidt wasn't even there. Pete Rose, Joe Morgan. I mean, Jesus Christ. Johnny Bench batting 6th. I mean, look at the talent. You got Johnny Bench batting 6th. And today you don't have 6 guys that can hand a torch to Johnny Bench. So, I mean, my guess is that the athletes are, yes, they're getting more into soccer, which is irrelevant in the U.S. I went by my old, junior high school, and the football field's a soccer field now. So the kids aren't developing and playing. I think it's a development thing. I think, again, the GMs are clueless. They couldn't spot a guy like Reggie Jackson if they wanted to. It's crazy. So I think there's a lot of, I think more people are sitting at home watching Netflix and playing games than going outside. I think that's probably the biggest nail on the head right there. So when I was growing up, 13, 14, 15, in the summer, I'm playing baseball with the kids around the block, and we're going to the school. I remember this one kid, he wanted to go play majors, so I'm pitching to him. I'm throwing him curveballs and fastballs, and we're up against the thing in the school. So we're sitting at the gym with the brick wall, and he's there, and I'm pitching to him. Well, now you'd never see that. You'd see the kid inside playing video games, watching Netflix, on texting, on TikTok, and they're not outside and they're not developing. So I think a lot of maybe athletes aren't doing that. And so, again, when you grew up, now these guys grew up in the 40s and 50s, were probably outside all the time, right? Willie Mays was 40. So Willie Mays grew up in 1932. He was born during the fucking war. So after the war ends in the 40s, he's probably out playing big. Joe DiMaggio was a big player in San Francisco. He could really hit. There was a little thing I saw on YouTube on Joe DiMaggio, and the guy was incredible, but he played every day. The kids played every day, and even if they played stickball in New York or whatever, so they're out playing and developing. And I think that's the biggest problem with the internet. You've really killed the kids going out and playing to let's watch video games and movies. And like me, I go out every day swimming. I couldn't just sit and watch Netflix all day, every day. And that's the biggest thing when you retire. The big trap is stay busy. Have something like do this and then go swimming and cook. You can't just sit there and watch TV. It's crazy. Go out and walk, go out and swim, go to the lake, do something. So I think that's the biggest a problem with it is the kids aren't out playing. I played football, it's touch football, and then I'd play baseball. When I got turned 15 or 16, I started playing golf. And I kind of self-taught. And then one day I hit the ball really good, and that was it. Like I couldn't hit the ball very well. And then one day I just calmed my swing down and relaxed and just said, what the fuck? And I hit it like 200 yards and I go, oh, okay, now I can golf. Because I was always athletic, good hand-eye coordination. But I was really good at baseball. And I could catch the football, and basketball was too small. 5'9" white kid, no, not a chance. But that was it. So I think that's the biggest part. People aren't going outside and playing. I live in an apartment here. There's no basketball hoop or anything. I do see it in the gym where I swim is a big complex. So there are like basketball courts and a walking track and the pool. There's a lot of kids in swim. There's a lot of swim classes that they have almost every day. I don't know. I think it's a high school and some's even younger. Some of the kids look like they're maybe 9, 10, 12 years old. I don't know. But they're not out. So it's the internet that's really killing sports and business and everything else. And then people will say something like, let's use analytics, and everybody runs to do it without realizing it's a Ponzi scheme. It doesn't work. They're just trying to sell the idea. Like Bitcoin, they're just trying to sell it. It doesn't work. It's not real. But if they come out and say, oh, Bitcoin's the next new thing, it's money. Do you even know what money is? Money is the most demanded thing that must be bought, and you can get paid and use it. Well, where can you use Bitcoin? So it isn't money, but somebody says it is. So you want to play video games because it's neat. Instead of going out in the 60s and the 70s and 80s, you went out. Once the internet really, now that. So that's probably the biggest reason they don't play baseball anymore. I see a lot of girls playing. My daughters played like softball. I didn't see that many. I did see some little league, but I think it's way down. You think kids are playing less baseball? Yeah. Well, like now, soon they should be playing baseball. But I don't, again, where do they even have it? The schools, I don't even know if they have baseball. It's all soccer for some reason. Again, well, people won't get hurt. It's a whole socialist mentality. It's ruining football. It's ruining basketball, and it's ruining baseball. Well, I think there's some playing soccer, but there's no money in it. If you're an American kid, you're going to play basketball because it's the easiest sport. And then you're going to probably play football, even though there's contact, because it's an easy sport. And then you get into baseball because you got to hit it. You're exposed. If you can't hit a baseball, you can't play. You can't be a 150 hitter unless you're on the Tigers, of course. So that's how I see that. Do I think Aaron Judge is good? I don't see him that often, but I do think he's good. I think I showed you the starting lineup of the National League. Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, Joe Torre, Star Joel, and with McCovey. And I don't think he can't touch any of it. He can't touch Johnny Bench, Killebrew, Reggie Jackson. He's not in that class. but he looks better because the league sucks. I think he's a good player. I don't think he's a great player. Copyright now. I'm not worried about copyright here. Even if I did, just say, oh, we can't show the video or whatever. Who do we have? Mansu Detachment. Oh, welcome to class. I don't recall you, but hello. People have essentially given up because they think the whole system is rigged against them, possibly. Ever since that whole deflate gate, lots of people openly say it's all rigged. It might be rigged, but from the playing standpoint, who cares? You want to give me 20 million to play, I'll play. The fact if it's rigged or not, from a playing standpoint, shouldn't matter. Now, from the betting standpoint, I don't care because I bet teasers. I found a loophole because the teaser is not rigged. The regular game is rigged. But if I took Seattle in the Super Bowl, and even if it was rigged or not, I won. I bet it under, and it stayed under. And I bet Houston under a lot. And so as long as I keep winning on my bets, I don't really care if it's rigged because it's not rigged for teasers, right? You can win. The spread's 7. You can win by 6 and no more. But in a teaser, we're laying 1. They win by 4. We win because we're only laying 1. We're not laying 7. I think the straight better is screwed because, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of rigged things. I do agree it's rigged, but I don't agree. I don't agree if you're a player, I think you'd still play. If I'm a good baseball player or a good football player, I'm still going to play because I love to play and I'm going to make a lot of money at it, even though the game might be rigged, but me playing isn't. Barry Bonds, sure. It's other thing after another. Oh, man. Death by a million stabs. Well, that's what football is doing to itself right now. Baseball's problem is there's no Barry Bonds, there's no Mark McGwire. And at the time, that was dying. The Mark McGwire and Sosa hit 900 home runs that year, and Barry, you couldn't get him out. It rejuvenated baseball, but now baseball is terrible. And then they don't have it on TV, as I was talking. If the games aren't on TV, how do you watch it? How do I watch Barry Bonds now? I want to watch Aaron Judge. Well, I can't. He's not on TV, or he's on the New York station or whatever. I don't live in New York. And I'm not going to pay Apple Prime to watch Aaron Judge. So you're not showing your key players. You got Verlander at 43 still playing, and he lost 11 in a row last year. He's not going to be good, but people think he's still 25. People in Detroit, oh, we got a Hall of Fame pitching staff. Yeah, you got Framber Valdez is not Hall of Fame. He was 13-11 with a 3.8 ERA, and that was at Houston. And we'll see what he does. He should do well in the Detroit ballpark, but he's not a Hall of Famer. And Verlander is 43, and then Skubal doesn't try. So what good are you going to think you're getting with Skubal? He's not a Hall of Famer. He's no Steve Carlton. He's no Bob Gibson, Koufax. Another guy, he's not even a Vita Blue. And that's what you see there. You see him. He's a quitter, right? None of those players you just saw in the All-Star game that I just showed you would ever get out of the game. Jim Palmer would go 9 innings. Mike Cuellar would go 9 innings. Tom Seaver, you think you're getting Tom Seaver out of the game. But Skubal, and then the excuse from the conspiracy guy is, well, it's a different time now. It's not the same game. It's the same game. Baseball is baseball. You throw the ball, you hit the ball. Nothing changed, but you got stupid managers or whoever's telling them to only pitch 5 innings to save their arms. There's more injuries than anything. That's bullshit. But you give me a good pitcher. If Verlander's pitching a no-hitter in one of these games and he's in the 8th inning, he ain't coming out. No fucking way. Max Scherzer, not coming out. And that's the thing. That's what you need, and you're not getting that. So to say the game's changed as your excuse is just bullshit. The game hasn't changed. Football, yeah, they moved the kickoff, if you want to call that game changing, or the extra point, but it's stupid. The extra point should be from the 2. It's an extra point. It's a reward for getting the touchdown. It's not, let's make it from midfield and you got to kick it. It's just stupid. I was listening. They said, oh, if you get inside the 50, you can't punt. What kind of stupid crap is that? First of all, there's very little punting from the 40, and you can't, you're kicking field goals 57 yards, or you're just going for it if it's 4th and 2. What do you do on a 4th and 10 from the 45? You're not going for it. You would punt the ball inside the 5. Oh, no, we can't have that. What kind of idiot rule is that? That's like the kickoff. Oh, let's stand at the 25 holding hands. And then when the ball's kicked, it's the stupidest thing. It doesn't add value. It makes it worse. All these good kickoff returns you're never going to see. They might get injured. It's football. Of course they get injured. Well, times have changed. Times haven't changed. This is the problem with like the algorithms and crap like that aren't real and they're not accurate, but people listen to them because they're morons. Oh, I got to go on 4th and 1. Like I said, no, you can't do that. But again, if the rule doesn't make the game better, you don't do it. This tush push. Okay, you can have a quarterback sneak, but you can't have guys pushing other guys. That's not part of the game. The game, you can't be pushed. Part of the game is not being pushed. It's you run it on your own. If you're pushed, that's a problem. So I don't like the tush push at all. The fact Philadelphia, they don't even use it right. First of all, I would not have my quarterback doing it. I would have my tight end doing it, or a big running back, fullback type. Like if I'm the Lions, I don't use Goff. I would use Montgomery to do it, or your tight end, and I would have maybe a defensive end, and I would have him carry it. But I don't think going against 10 guys who are all stacked in is really a smart play. I don't like the helping the other runner or carrying the other runner or pushing the other runner. That's not part of football. So now you're changing the game, just like the Constitution we changed. All right. So, yeah, it's getting very bad. Let's see what the hell I'm talking about here. What else is on my description? Problems with sports today. Gold and silver starting to run. Well, that's what we talk about. Poker strategy. Okay. Poker strategy. So poker strategy changes. I heard Daniel Negreanu say it's like the got to think of the word. It's some strategy. It's like the military uses a strategy. I can't think of the word. It's some strategy they use. And so it changed poker a little bit. No, it's the same thing. If you got full house, you win. People run to make changes, but they're not better. God, I can't think of it. I don't know. They're doing it in the war with this. So let's go to poker, and we can go to Iran. Let's do Iran quickly. So Trump kills the guy in charge, or Israel does, the leader of Iran. And that's it. Now, I don't know the retaliation. They're shooting missiles at us. The problem is the U.S. will run out of ammunition in probably a week to 2 weeks. We don't have any ammunition. We gave it all to Ukraine. So Trump wants to go to war with Venezuela and Mexico, and now with Iran. Why? He wants the oil. He wants Venezuela's oil. He wants Iran's oil. Well, he doesn't understand with Iran, China, and Russia are there. And they're not going to let you do that. Now, so they did it. Israeli owns the U.S. They pay out, they bribe all the politicians. Talk about changing. I mean, in baseball, I just showed you, in football, share with you I should find a football all-star introduction. And it would be half the Steelers of the 70s with Stabler, Blitnikoff, and some of the Raiders. And it's just we're doing these proxy wars. What the fuck are we doing? Well, we're broke and we need to spend money. So here you got China and Russia. You want to piss them off. You gave all your military to the Ukraine. It takes a year, 2 years to rebuild them. The materials you need, China has, so you can't even make bullets because China's got the ingredient that you need, and they're not going to give it to you because you're going to fire at them. All the missiles are gone. All we have is aircraft airplanes and some boats, which not a lot of boats. So what happens? The airplanes shoot their missiles. Now you got to restock. Well, we don't have any. And Northrop Grumman, it takes them a year to replenish. And how much are you still selling to the Ukraine? So war can't last more than a month because we don't have any ammo. I don't know what Israel's got. Basically, this is Israel against Iran using us because Israel owns the U.S. They bribe all the politicians with lobbyists to get them to vote for us. So we're being run by Israel, basically, and Israel wants to attack Iran because it's a threat to Israel and that part of the world, and we're doing it. I don't understand. We're fighting Russia in the Ukraine, and we're fighting Iran for Israel, and we're broke. We're bankrupt. We have no money. Where are we getting the money for the wet? Well, we'll just print money. Well, the money is worthless. You can print all you want, but it's worthless. At the end of the day, the money's worthless. So I don't know what the fuck's going on. Anyway, I doubt the war can last more than a month because we don't have the ammunition. How many missiles do we have? How many times we need silver for that? We don't have the silver. Again, we gave everything to the Ukraine. We don't have the weapons. We can't, it's like I tell my friends, I said, they ask me for money. I says, but if I run out of money, there is no Howard to help me. So I have to be very careful with my money. And the U.S. didn't do that. In other words, there's no place for them to buy the equipment and the missiles needed for them. They're the source, and their source is dry. So I don't know. I don't know what we're doing. We killed Khomeini, and I assume we're trying to put in a guy who will let us steal their oil. Simple as that. And you got Russia and China going, no, I don't think so. Because China buys 30% of their oil from Iran, and Russia deals with Iran and a lot of stuff. So I don't know who's texting me. So I don't see this war lasting long. Again, the only reason is because we're broke and we want to steal their oil, which is why we've been going to war lately, because we're broke. And we keep printing money, and people think you can just keep printing it and printing it. And as we know, you can't. If you keep printing it, there is no value in the money. We have a $39 trillion debt. So what the fuck are you doing going to war, which is very expensive? But I think Trump's smart enough to realize we're broke, but he doesn't understand how to get there. Well, we can do tariffs. That'll get us money. No, it won't. Again, they just stop buying. They just stop selling to us. I'll sell to China. Well, I'll sell to Japan, and I'll sell to Korea and Vietnam. I don't need to sell to the U.S., and we don't want your money anyway. So that's the other problem, is if they do the tariffs, nobody wants to sell goods or services to us because they don't want our money unless they take it and go buy gold with it. all the central banks buying gold, all the people. I know China, Russia are buying gold. I assume Germany the same because they went through 1922. I'm sure Africa is coming out with gold-backed currency for the entire country or continent, I guess. Africa's not a country. It's like Europe. It's not a country. Brazil, obviously buying. Venezuela buying. They're all buying gold. They're all buying silver. And there's just not that much left. So we're about to see it explode, which gets to my third point. So Iran, this war will not last. It can't. We don't have ammunition for it. So I don't even know if it's a war. We just attacked Khomeini, probably with CIA guys and MI6, James Bond, people like that attack. We do not have an army. It's gone. The weapons are gone. We have just some aircraft carriers and some planes. That's the U.S. Army. Funny part is we're supposed to be able to protect ourselves, which we can't because we don't have a fucking army anymore. We don't have weapons. We don't have bullets. We don't have missiles. All we got is a nuke. Are we going to fucking nuke and kill everybody? I mean, is this where they're headed to? They want to nuke? They'll nuke the Russians will nuke us, and we're all dead. Is this where we're going? Oh, we'll have a few guys, and then they'll use AI because we won't have any people. Is that where we're going? AI is a Ponzi scheme. It's not working. It doesn't work. It's about laying off all the employees so AI can replace them all. It's not accurate. And then you're going to have to hire employees to check that AI did the work right, which it doesn't. And 95% of the employees work far better than AI. Oh, yeah, we need vacations and we need to go pee and we need to eat. And AI doesn't. But what AI doesn't do is it's not accurate. All right. Poker strategy, as I said, I should think of this word. What is the word? It'll come to me. Game theory. Thank you. I'm going to write that one down. All the words I can't think of. Game theory. So I hear Daniel Negreanu talk about game theory and that the game changed the game theory and they follow that. And Tom DeWan with his big bluffs all the time. And, it doesn't work. Again, it doesn't work. Just because IT people create something doesn't mean it works. You can't verify because you don't know. So you just, game theory. No, game theory doesn't work. I'm not even sure what it is. I have to watch what game theory is. But again, it's a theory, and that's what they're using in the war is game theory. That's what they're using. And I hope I'm not losing my internet. I know I'm frozen. Come on. Now I'm going to get my internet killed. Fuck. Hello? Hi, John C. You see me, but I'm frozen. Okay, well, I'll just keep going then if you see me. So the game theory doesn't mean it's accurate. Can you hear me, John C? Okay, well, I'm frozen on my screen, but I'll keep going. So the game theory is a computerized thing where they're doing like they did on war games, where the war games were they would play the simulation. At the end, nobody would win because it leads to nuclear war, and there's no winner in nuclear war. And so I don't know what the game theory in poker is. It's probably if you have this, you play that. And if you have this, you play that, and you go from there. But that's what it is. But it doesn't mean it works. Again, it's just a theory, and it's not based on actual gameplay. So I was watching like Tom DeWan. All right, I was watching his bluffs. So they got like the top 10 bluffs of Tom DeWan or top bluffs of Tom DeWan. And basically it would be Basically, it would be, am I on?
Basically, it would be, am I on?
I guess I'm on.
Basically, it would be, am I on? I guess
Okay. So Tom DeJuan would, it's hard because I'm frozen on my screen. Tom DeJuan, it was mostly playing against weakness. Now, is that game theory in poker? I don't know. So in other words, you would bet and you would check and he'd see you as weak, and then he'd make this really large $40,000 bet. And he'd have nothing, but his theory would be you can't call. You're not going to risk all your money on a weak hand. So if I can read you as being weak, then I just make a bet to get you out of the hand. And so the best way to beat Tom DeJuan is to look weak, and then he'll make the big bet, and you've got a full house, and you beat him. So you just check him, and that's how you beat guys like that. Like, you know, there's always ways to win that. So that would be the way to beat a Tom DeJuan or a bluffer. And then, you know, if he gets a hand, is he going to make the big bet? And I don't think so. So he's reading weakness, and I think if you come over the top on a Tom DeJuan, you would win. But he makes it so it's a $50,000 bet. If it's 5,000, you know, for these pros, maybe they come over for 15. But so that'd be like me in my 1-3 game when I'm playing for $300 and a good pot's maybe 100, where he would bet like 100, and then I'd have to go all in to beat him. But my hand wasn't that great. It was a pair of nines. I'm not going to do it. But it was the winner because he didn't have it. So a lot of poker strategy is not telling your hand. It's fooling the guy. It's watching him tell you. See, with Tom DeJuan, you wouldn't know what he is. Everybody has their tell. Once in a while, they bluff. Once in a while, they play their cards. And I think they watch you. So you could get them to bluff by just checking and looking scared. And then they're, he looks scared. Yeah, I'm looking scared on purpose. So you got to be a good actor and make them think you don't have a hand. But anyway, so that's like, I got to check Game Theory Poker. I'll watch that video. What else? So we've got Iran in this new war to go with Mexico, and that war to go with Ukraine, and that war. What the fuck? And, you know, I'm like, I don't know where to travel. I don't, you know, I want to go to Europe. I don't know if I can. I'm probably safest in Russia, but I don't know how safe that is. So we'll see. Again, Daria, I think, is having trouble with the internet. She didn't talk to me today or yesterday, but I'm sure it's not like she doesn't want to. I'm sure it's just because of the internet and the VPN. And that's a big part of it. So anyway, I think that's the problem with sports now. They make changes, these instant replay. They're killing the audience is what they're doing in the name of safety. Well, you know, we got to make it safe. Now what they're doing in baseball, oh my God, with the whole getting rid of the umpire for a computer to call balls and strikes, that's a disaster waiting to happen because you can't argue it. And I'm sure it's not going to work. I'm sure it's not going to, it'll be 2 feet outside and they'll still call it a strike. And you're going to go, how do you argue? It's a machine. Just let the umpire, let him make mistakes. It's okay. Like in that World Series I talked to you about, the balls hit. I think it was Yogi or Sparky. And the guy never touched home. And the guy was never, no, it was Baltimore for sure. And he didn't touch, but the ump called him out. And that's fine. Whatever the ump calls should, if it's right or wrong, isn't the point. You have the ump control the game and call it. And that's the thing in football. If the ump says it's a touchdown, it's a touchdown. If the ump says the guy's out of bounds, he's out of bounds. Even if the instant replay shows he's wrong, it's okay. You're killing the game. Just let the game flow. It's fair. The ump's going to make calls, right? Good, bad, or ugly, and just let it be. So that's, I think, the biggest problem. Anyway, what else? So again, I will do the NBA playoffs. I don't do college, and I don't do, maybe I'll talk a little of the college brackets. Baseball, I will do, and I'm going to narrow it down to maybe the top 4 or 5 plays. And then obviously football is the big one. We'll talk about the draft. It's not worth talking about the whatchamacallit, the little out there in shorts and things. I mean, it's not worth it. The combine, it's totally not worth it. It's funny, my screen's froze, but you can see me and hear me, so that's all that matters. I don't really need to look at myself, but it helps. So let's see what else. So a lot's going to happen with the whole. We had a huge day in gold and silver tonight at 6:15. China takes over, and you'll see the gold. I think it really explodes. I think we'll see easily 5,500 in March, if not all the way to 6,000 for gold, and silver should get back to 110 probably in March. I was doing some looks. I have a spreadsheet, and it goes from the beginning of January 2025 to the end, and then January 25 to today, and it's way up. I mean, silver was like $40 an ounce January 25 or $30 an ounce, and it just shoots. And then gold was also maybe 3,000, 3,100, and now it's over 5. So people keep thinking it's going to come down. It's not coming down because there's no reason for it to come down. As long as we have demand by BRICS and central banks and us, gold and silver can only go up because we need it. We have to get out of the dollar. That's going broke. So that's really the key to it. Watching that go broke and watching you must have gold and silver, and you just go into it. You don't time it. You don't wait. All you do is buy it, right? My birthday's next week. I'm going to buy another 3 or 4 ounces of silver, and I probably want to buy 4. And that's just it. I know it's going to go up. I know 90 is nothing. 93 is very, very small. I mean, the real price, if you just let it be like a regular item, like a shirt or pants or glasses or anything, the biggest difference is there's no competition for it. It's gold, it's silver, and that's it. There's no competition. They're monopolies. They're real money. You buy physical, you don't buy ETF. You must buy physical, not ETFs. And there's no other option. And it's not just this going broke, it's also this going broke. And all the other countries, anything in regular dollars, not backed by gold, is all going out. So you're going to have a flood of banks and people going into gold and silver, and it's just not that much there, and you can't just print it. So it's got to be there. So that's the key, and it's just going to fly because it has to. And more people are getting aware of it. The stock market will crash because the economy will crash, and people who are in the stock market, I think it's 30 or 40 trillion, are from international people, Germans and Swiss and French and British and China and Russia and Japan. They're all in the stock market. They're going to pull it because they don't want to be in US dollars, because we know what happens to the US dollars. It's worthless. So when that goes out, you don't want to be stuck there. So that's my point. So just buy it now and hold it. You're not buying to sell. You're not trying to, where's Cart? Maybe we'll see him tomorrow. You're not trying to buy it and sell it in a week and make profit. That's not what this is. This is getting out of dollars. Because if you do that, you're getting back into dollars. So if I bought silver at 87 last week and now it's 93 and I made $6 an ounce and I bought 100 ounces, I made $6,000. That's not the point. The point is to hold it. I mean, I bought $20, $25. This is $30. I don't, it's up to 93. I have no thoughts of selling it, because then I got to get back into the monopoly money. And that's the point, is to get out of this, not to get back into it. So I'm much better holding this, watching this go up, than I am putting it in the dollar, which is worthless. So why would I want to do that? So don't sell it. Do not profit take it. Just get as much as you can. If you can only afford half ounces of silver for $50, buy half ounces. There's ounces, there's half ounces. I wouldn't buy the junk silver because it's not 999, and and you don't know what an ounce is. So if you have an old mercury dime, you don't know what it is. What is it, 90% silver? You don't know. Is anybody going to buy it? I don't know. So a lot of what the refineries are doing is taking the silverware and the jewelry and the crap silver, and they're making new coins out of it, or bars. Obviously, you'd rather have the 1 and 2 ounce coins, maybe 5 ounce, because if you have like a 100-ounce bar, do you really want to sell 100 ounces at a time? Probably not. You probably want to sell 3 or 4 ounces here and 3 or 4 ounces there of silver, of gold. You might sell a half ounce or a quarter ounce or a couple of them and keep your ounces, because the ounce, when it hits 20,000 an ounce, you're going to be mighty glad you've held your ounces that long. So those are the real winners when you hold them. You hold them, like I said, if you need money, want to go on a trip, you got an expense, sell an ounce of gold, perfectly understandable. That's fine. That's what you got to do. When I listen to these retirement programs, they talk about, well, we'll put you in stocks. They don't mention gold. They don't know what gold is. They put you in stocks because they get commission. Or annuities. I heard yesterday they want to put you in annuities. Yeah, that's great. And your money, you'll get so much money every month or year or whatever. I didn't hear the full thing, but why would I want to be in money? See, if I'm in an annuity, I'm still in this. If I'm in gold and silver, that. The annuity, even if I get let's say $1,000 a month, but it's in bullshit monopoly money that isn't worth anything. But if I'm in gold and silver, this is going up in value. This will maintain the value that this loses. So anything in dollars with inflation and the value of the dollar dropping, I don't want to be in that. So I don't want to be in an annuity, stocks, bonds, real estate trust, anything, real estate, Bitcoin, anything that is priced in dollars, I don't want to be in. Except for gold and silver, which is priced in dollars, but doesn't need to be. Soon it'll be priced in gold and silver, and then you're fine. So the price of silver will be what ends up happening. It's the purchasing value. And so what will an ounce of silver buy? Could buy a set of golf clubs. It could buy a bunch of meat. It could buy, food for a month. And gold will buy you a house. Half an ounce might buy you a car. That's how you measure gold and silver, not it's $50,000 per ounce, because that's irrelevant, because the dollar keeps losing value. That's what Egon keeps saying. It keeps losing value. So it really doesn't make sense. You should value your gold and silver. And you keep saying cows and chickens, but even that is valued in dollars. It's priced in dollars, so it's not even accurate. But it'll protect you, and that's what you're doing. When the dollar goes to zero and collapses, and all these wars are showing you, I mean, it wasn't bad enough Ukraine, but now you got fucking Iran and Mexico and Ukraine. Are you fucked? What, in Venezuela? What is that? You know how much that costs you? It's a very expensive thing to go to war, because you got to feed the people. You need gas. You need to make more weapons, more missiles, more bullets. I mean, you got to keep replenishing. That's expensive, and you don't have that. And it's a plane gets shot down. You need a new plane. That's $1 billion. Or I don't know if they use tanks. They're just trying to use weapons. They're just trying to fire on the jets. How long? How well can that be? Or you're going to shoot missiles from your aircraft carrier 700 miles away. Well, good luck on that one. So not a very strategic move if you don't send in tanks and guys and bazookas and all this stuff. So, I know they probably are going to do the war, not with military, but with CIA. James Bond will go in there, and Arnold Schwarzenegger will lead a team. They'll find, maybe they get the Predators to get a team together. But that's what you need. So it's very expensive war. And I read France went bankrupt. England went bankrupt because they had to pay for World War One weapons from the U.S. That's how we got all our gold. We sold to Britain. We sold the weapons for gold, for their gold. They went bankrupt. That's what's in Fort Knox, or supposedly, but there's nothing in Fort Knox. Again, if they really have gold and silver in Fort Knox, when are they going to show it? What are they waiting for? And I doubt they do. I think it's been sold to the Chinese. And if they really had it, they'd show it. Why wouldn't they? Because what would it hurt? Then you could pay off your debt, but you can't really never pay off your debt. Even if you were to pay it to zero, you're still going to have every month. If too many government employees have interest, well, you'd get rid of the interest on the debt. You'd have the military and the Social Security. So it would get rid of the interest if you did pay the debt off. Basically, that's it. Which reminds me, I've got to pay rent tomorrow. Today's the 1st, but it's Sunday, so I will pay it. And I got to go to the bank and put a few dollars in and cover rent. I got most of it covered. I just need a few. And that's it. So again, the gold and silver is your protection. If you need money, you always can take 1 ounce of gold and get $5,200, and you go, okay, I'm okay for a while, and cut your spend as best you can, and go from there. Now we will see gold go up, so you'll be okay. And that's it. So we went around the map. Poker again is this game theory, which I think it's just a computer simulation of how people should react to certain bets. It won't work. It's like analytics in football. Go for it every 4th and 1. Go for 2 when you're down 14. I hate that one. You're down 14, kick the extra point, go down 7. But it's looking at you to win the game. So the analysis of going for 2 when you're down 14 and you score, and now you're down 8. The analysis is it's easier to score the 2-point conversion than it is to score the 2-point conversion at the end of the game. However, that's not how you're trying to win, because if you don't get the 2-point conversion with the first one, then you need a 2-point conversion on the second one to tie the game. And that's the bets. We're always looking at it go down 7, and then at the end you tie the game, go to overtime. But the analytics are looking to win the game. They're not looking to try. That's why they go for it on 4th down. If you get it, you win the game. However, they don't say if you don't get it, you lose the game. And this is what the problem was with analytics. This is the problem with gold and silver. Again, they're using some game theory, and it went up, so you should short it. It went down, you should buy it. And it's a mess. These IT people they're not finance people. They're not football people. They're fucking clueless. So they're just spitting out data, and they don't know what it is, but the idiot coaches don't know, and they just go along with it. You just see the pinch hitting and let's go to a lefty and a righty, even though the guys suck. The guy's hitting 180. You just took out a 300 hitter for a guy hitting 180 because he's lefty versus righty. Doesn't make any. And then the guy hitting 180, of course, doesn't get a hit. But, of course, the managers are too stupid to realize that. Anyway, I think that's about it. So, I don't know. If there's questions or comments, please do. But nice to have you, Manchu. I think it hurts, as he's saying. I don't believe that, as far as losing people to watch it, I agree. The basketball is all fixed, so we don't. If we want to watch something like that, we watch wrestling. And at least there's stars in it. Ric Flair is probably still wrestling. I can't believe the Hulkster died. That's unbelievable. But you still have, it's about the star power. That's what you're watching. That's why wrestling was so good with Hogan. You wanted to watch Hogan. You wanted to watch the Macho Man. And in baseball, like I showed you the All-Star game, and now there's nobody there. Basketball, they don't even want to play in the All-Star game. Football, they want to play flag football. This is a joke. I don't want to watch that sport. Problem is, there's no. So what are you going to watch? Netflix, and you're going to watch video games, TikTok. So you got to be careful who's driving the car here, because it smells, and the government is so corrupt. I can't believe how corrupt all these governments are, taking the kickbacks. The U.S. government's an embarrassment. I don't even know why it's around. They just do what the Israelis who pay that. Here's $1 million. Do what I say. No problem. And it's so stupid that they allow that, and and these politicians go along with it. It's just amazing. It's really hard to take, and it's like I don't want to vote, just like I don't want to watch baseball. And I don't want to watch basketball because it's not real, like you said. Basketball is even bigger cheating. The players are actually betting against themselves. Yeah, I'm going to fake an injury so I won't score 10 points. Well, first of all, the bet should be you got to play the whole game. And you can't bet on yourself. How is that not a bet? How is that even legal in the NBA? But I'd like to see Shotani thrown out, because it was him betting on games. And what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If you're going to throw out these guys for betting, Pete Rose, you got to throw out Shotani. And I'd love to see that. Anyway, I think that's it. Go enjoy your Sunday. We're in March now, and have a good day. And I don't know what the weather is. Sunny out, but I don't know if it's warm or cold. Seems pretty warm because my heat isn't coming on that much. All right, take care. Enjoy your day. www.teaserking.com. You want to email me? I am getting emails. I do respond to them. And like I say, I don't do college baskets. If you go to www.teaserking.com and you go to the purchase picks, it gives all the prices. But if I do baseball, it's like $25 for the week. It's not expensive because it's really hard. But I did figure out a lot of it last year, so I'm anxious for this year to see what I can do. And NBA basketball, I'll do it on here, and then as we get ready for football. So we'll talk draft when it comes up and everything else. Anyway, have a good day. Take care. Enjoy your May. Enjoy your Sunday. All right, take care.